Emu is not the final villain of One Piece. Who is really the mastermind behind Emu? And why does the story of One Piece still has a long way to go? Watch the video till the end because I'm going to connect all the dots and give you a precise answer about who the person controlling Emu really is. But before that, one small request, and that is to like this video, share this video to fellow One Piece and anime fans, subscribe to our channel Any Emotion. That really helps us a lot. Now that self-introduction out of the way, let's get back into the main video. Now let us first talk about the root of all of these theories, and that is why is there a puppet master of Emu in the first place. Now let me just explain everything that is related to Emu and his puppet. You would know this, ever since Emu was introduced, there was a string of theories that connects Emu to the devil and a lot of different things. And mainly these theories exist because King Cobra really speculated that Emu is really Narona Emu from Void Century. And being Narona Emu, it meant that Emu was literally over 800 years old. And in One Piece's age system, that doesn't fit. One person doesn't live for 800 years even if you are a giant. And we also saw the silhouettes of Emu and the 5 Gorosei when they tried to kill Sabo in the throne room. And this is at this point the theories started to boil about Emu being the literal devil of the One Piece world or having a contract with the literal devil of the One Piece world. And this is how Emu is alive for over 800 years. And this is all really before Egghead, and we didn't even knew Saint Saturn was going to die in Egghead at this point. We knew that he's going to lose somehow, but we didn't knew that he's going to freaking die. But then in Egghead we got to see the death of one of the 5 elder stars, that is Saint Saturn. And this is pretty important because how Saint Saturn died, it really shifted the theory from Emu being a contracted person with the devil to Emu being the literal devil himself. And then it was heavily speculated that Emu might be the real devil himself, who is handing out contracts to the Gorosei and to every single Holy Knight, and this is how they get their power. And during the beginning of Elbaf, this theory was really boosted with the help of Shamrock, Kerberos and Gunko. Everyone thought that hey, Emu is the devil, is literally handing out powers with a powerful contract, and in return he might even get something we did not knew what he got, because it might be something pretty interesting saved for later arc of One Piece. But then we got the big freaking reveal of Emu. Literally no one in the community thought that Emu is going to personally show up in Elbaf. That just changed everything. Now let us fast forward to last week's chapter because it really changed a lot of things. And it gave us one big reveal that really meant that all the theories about Emu got updated, and now we might just have cracked the case about Emu, his real powers, and who is the real puppet master of Emu from behind the scene. Now with the history of Emu and his string of theories behind us, I hope we are all on the same page, or at least a bit on the same page. So finally, with the history behind us, let us talk about the current situation of Narona D Emu and his puppet master. But one more thing, that is Emu doesn't have an official D in his name. I just added it for dramatic purposes only. Throughout the battle between Emu versus Loki and Luffy, we got to see Narona D Emu in the flesh speak for the very first time. He speaks a lot during this battle, and we got to see him speak a lot during his silhouetted version as well. And now how they speak is really a lot different depending on the version you're talking to right now, and that is pretty strange. You see, I personally did expected their type of speech to be different from the silhouette version and the normal human version, but they are actually very different, and that is a very noticeable thing. It is like Oda want us to see that hey, they speak really differently. Now their difference in speech is really important because a lot of One Piece theories about Emu and the puppet master of Emu really has the basis of this real difference between their speech. But it is not the only thing that points out to an Emu puppet master. No, there are a few other things. Let me point them out one by one. In the last chapter of One Piece, we got to see that the Omen ability of Emu really has a mind of their own. Now this is very important because except for Big Mom's homies, we do not get to see anything like this. And Big Mom's homies, how they operate, we all know that Big Mom really uses different people's soul in order to create homies. But we don't know how Emu's Omen ability works or what are the base for the Omen abilities. Do Emu steal souls from people at night and make the Omen ability? We don't know about that yet, but they do behave a lot like homies. And I would also go and say this, that they are even more stronger than the homies, because hey, Emu is really on a different level compared to Big Mom, so his ability is also going to be on a different level compared to Big Mom's homies. Now, there is another very important thing. If you've watched the whole fight or read the whole fight between Emu versus Loki and Emu versus Luffy, we got to see that Emu's main attack are just the Omen. He doesn't use much more variations. All of his attacks are really related to the Omen ability. Even in the last chapter, we got to see that his Omen ability is the one that located Loki's wounds, and then he just fired his big old sword through Loki's wound and just pushed Loki from one part of the island conveniently to where Gunko is in order to melt her ice. So that is another thing. And Emu's power really revolving around Omen ability is not a surprise at all. I think it is a very big indicator about Emu's puppet master. Yes, the Omen ability are the big giveaway about Emu's master. Now stick with me for this one because it is going to go real crazy. And now we go back 800 years to the Void Century. And this is the time where the 20 kingdoms came together in order to defeat the Ancient Kingdom. And you should know that Joy Boy also belonged and fought for the Ancient Kingdom. So a kingdom which is really big in technology, even Vegapunk couldn't match his technology and said that he's way behind them. So you could even imagine how strong the Ancient Kingdom's tech was. They had Joy Boy, the person who had the power of Nika. They had people like Emmet, who are big old robots. So how could even Joy Boy and the Ancient Kingdom really fall to the 20 kingdoms who are literally not going to be that much technologically superior to them? Maybe at a standstill with technology, but not in terms of manpower, because we all know that how strong and crazy Luffy's abilities are, and we have not seen what the full extent of the Nika Devil Fruit is. And Joy Boy could be someone that really pushed the limits of the Devil Fruit. And during this war, the 20 kings somehow won. We don't know how the fight went. We don't know how Joy Boy lost. It is said that someone betrayed Joy Boy, but we don't know who did this, how he lost, but anything related to it. But one thing we know, there was a confrontation. And to even stand out to someone which is technologically superior, have powerful figures like Joy Boy, maybe some other gods, maybe even Dowson was there. Now, to even survive a confrontation against the Ancient Kingdom, you have to have strong fighters in your own group. And that is where Emu's master come in. I think Emu maybe ate a devil fruit or maybe somehow contacted an unknown forgotten god of the One Piece world. Yes, there are not 4 gods, we know, because it was hinted to us by Oda in Elbaf. Again, through Dowson, we all thought that hey, the god of war is there, Dowson is there. It could mean that hey, if there is a god of war, an unnamed god, there could be even more gods than the already 4 known gods of the One Piece world. And this is one that is unnamed, because I think this god who is possessing Emu was the arch nemesis of Nika. And maybe Nika somehow defeated him, or maybe Nika didn't win. Nika just sealed that god away and just make history forget that god, so that the seal is never broken and the god that is Nika's arch nemesis never reveals himself. Maybe Nika died in that process. That is why his devil fruit is being circulated throughout One Piece right now. But then in times of desperation, Narona Emu and the 20 kingdoms opened that freaking seal that released that evil god of the One Piece world. And just like Vegapunk, I would say this: we don't know who the evil person was, who was the right person, who was the wrong person. We just don't know about that yet. I'm not going to speculate on that either. But just how animes work, maybe Joy Boy, Nika were the right person, and maybe Emu and that evil god was the wrong person. But if we don't talk about right or wrong, we could easily say that Emu unleashed something that was meant to be sealed or that was meant to be forgotten, and he unleashed this, and this is how they won the ultimate war of Void Century, and this is how the world government we know it come to power. But that's not the end. How is the One Piece related to it? Why are the world government and the Celestial Dragon living in the red line? is there some kind of sketchy ritual going on there? I'm going to talk all about that because I have an even bigger theory about this ready, but the video is going to be way too long, but so we're going to keep it for another video. But if you guys watched this video till the end, thank you so much for watching our video. It really meant a lot. And for right now, I'm going to say one thing, and that is, if you like this video, share this video to your fellow One Piece and anime fans, subscribe to our channel, Any Emotion. Now with that out of the way, I'm out. Peace.